On today's show, we have an XeSS multi-frame generation update. We have a PS Vita clone, Nintendo Direct game information, new Steam machine, Steam frame information, all that stuff is coming up right now. Let's rewind the news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Handheld Rewind, your weekly gaming handheld news podcast. We bring you the show every single week. We rewind all of the news from the week and we just kind of spit it out at you. So I'm your host, Blame It On Ryan. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing if you're into a handheld news and all that kind of stuff. Hit that like button. The comment box is open down below for all of your comments during the show. So without wasting too much of your time up front, let's jump straight into the news with item number 1. Nintendo Switch becomes the best-selling Nintendo console ever with 155 million units. The original Nintendo Switch is officially Nintendo's best-selling console of all time, surpassing the Nintendo DS handheld in lifetime sales. In its latest earnings release, Nintendo reports that the Nintendo Switch has, as of December 31st, 2025, sold 155.37 million units since its launch in 2017, compared to 154.02 million units for the 2004 Nintendo DS. And that story comes to us from Jess Weatherbed over at The Verge. So it's kind of crazy, man. It seems like the Nintendo Switch just came out like a few years ago, but it's already been almost a decade. I still remember whenever the news first dropped, and it was that commercial with like everybody hanging out on the rooftop, and it was like kind of like a young adult party, and everybody was playing with the Switch. It was kind of silly, but who thought that at that time? I mean, Nintendo was coming off the Wii U, and just kind of a disaster, and really there were some rumors floating about what Nintendo was going to do for its next console. And, that announcement really kind of confirmed that they're going like kind of like handheld first. And it's not even really handheld first because obviously it's a hybrid console. You can dock it to your TV, you can do it handheld, and it's going to play the same pretty much either way. Of course, nowadays I think the docked mode gets a little bit of a boost. When it came out, like I was excited about it. I thought it was really awesome, but I wasn't sure that it was going to be this just huge, big, obviously like the greatest Nintendo console of all time and almost the best-selling console ever. I mean, it's right up there, chasing down the PlayStation 2 for that title. So this is pretty impressive for Nintendo. The turnaround after the Wii U, which is like a complete disaster. And, something that's kind of funny about the Wii U as well, which is the second half of the story. Let's go ahead and jump into the second half of the story here real quick. This is still from Jess Weatherbed at The Verge. And so she writes, demand for the Switch 2 accelerated over the holidays, with the Nintendo reporting 7.01 million units sold during the quarter covering October through December, compared to 4.54 million units in the previous quarter. In total, the Switch 2 has now sold 17.37 million units since it launched in June 2025, taking less than a year to surpass the Wii U's 13.7 million lifetime console sales. The Switch 2 launch has helped Nintendo to drive a 51% increase in net profit over the first 9 months of fiscal year 2026. So isn't that like completely nuts when you really think about it? I mean, it doesn't seem like that long ago, like that even the Wii U launched. And yeah, it wasn't great. It didn't launch great, but man, for the Switch 2 to just obliterate its entire like lifetime sales in less than a year is incredibly impressive. And we all remember back last summer that Nintendo was ramping up production. They were, trying to beat the scalpers. They successfully did beat the scalpers. They wanted to have consoles on the shelves through the holiday season, just keep throwing them out there. It was still kind of hard to get for maybe a month or two after launch, but they just kept, if you were diligent, you could have gotten one pretty easily. They just kept, just pumping them out. And that's really impressive that they've delivered over 17 million units sold by the end of 2025. So that means we're already a month into 2026, as they've probably sold, a whole bunch more since then too. So Switch 2 is off to like a banger start, and they really haven't had to support it with too much in the way of software. And that's kind of a disappointment to me. I mean, there's not a ton of like Switch 2 tentpole games. Obviously, it launched with Mario Kart, and that is a super fun game. For me, I liked Mario Kart more when I was younger and like growing up with brothers and sisters and stuff like that, playing the battle modes and stuff like that. As an adult, I'm like, I played it, but I was like, man, it's really a couch co-op game for me. So maybe when my daughter gets a little older, maybe she'll, be interested in it and we could play together that way. But outside of that, Mario Kart's not getting me too excited. I would say probably Donkey Kong is probably the most excited I've been for a game on it. And Donkey Kong was good. I didn't quite finish it, but I played it pretty close to the end. I do need to go back and finish it. But they really haven't delivered a ton outside of that. Now we're just starting to get like more third-party support. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which you guys have seen for the last 2 weeks on the channel, was a huge deal for the Switch 2. And as you'll see later in the video, we'll get into the Nintendo Partner Direct that went live yesterday. That there is just the Switch 2 support is now starting to, like, the floodgates are opening, and major publishers are jumping on board. And we'll get to that here in just a few minutes. But what do you guys think about the Switch 2? I would say it's like quietly a just mega blockbuster hit console, honestly. I mean, it's not like in the zeitgeist all that much in the video game, like online. I mean, obviously lots of people have them, but it's just like you're not hearing about it as much as it's selling. They are quietly just like blowing the doors off with this console launch, I think. So I would love to see them come out. Maybe the next Nintendo Direct with a big Nintendo game, like give us a Mario, give us a Zelda, something. And I really think the acceleration, they can kind of put their foot on the pedal and continue to get more and more and more Switch 2s out there. So really great start for Nintendo. What do you guys think about that? Drop a comment down below, and we will move to news item number 3 for the week. Okay, so this is kind of a fun one. You guys on the channel that have ROG Xbox Ally X's, have you ever thought, 24 gigs of RAM, maybe that's not enough for me? Well, Slick Buys Mods over on YouTube is a kind of a modding channel, and they modded the hell out of the Xbox Ally X. So this story comes to us from Tom's Hardware from Kunal Kular, and he says, Slick Buys Mods and Repairs has successfully upgraded the system to a massive 64 gigabytes of RAM. This is the same modder who previously demonstrated their skills on the original ROG Ally by upgrading its memory from 16 gigabytes to 32 gigabytes. In a detailed video, the modder has showcased the entire process of replacing the soldered 6GB Micron LPDDR5X 8533 megatransfers per second memory packages with higher density 16GB SK Hynix LPDDR5 modules. The process involves completely dismantling the ROG Xbox Ally X by undoing a bunch of screws, removing the back panel, and then removing internal components, including the battery, the SSD, joysticks, heatsink, and a bunch of other ribbon cables. So if you're going to do this, you've got a lot of work ahead of you. Now, I'm not sure, too. If I remember right, maybe these guys were also selling these upgrades, like so you could send yours off and get it upgraded. I don't know if they're doing that. I saw that for previous handhelds, that there are companies out there doing it. I'm not sure if that was this company or not, but that's kind of insane. I don't know that I would personally be doing that. I mean, look, if you have one and you're capable and you're techie and you're into tinkering with that kind of stuff, I think I could do it, but the soldering is something that I've not done before. So I would definitely have to learn how to do that and probably practice a little bit on that before I'm going to take my $1,000 gaming handheld and, try to do this with it. But I honestly, I mean, at this point in time, though, if you have an Xbox ROG Ally X, I'm curious, like, do you see a need for this? When I had one here for about a month, and I really didn't have any issues with any of the games I was trying to play on it. I thought they all ran really great. It was probably, of the handhelds that I've had here on the channel, the most performant in terms of like the power and like the output for like the graphic fidelity and the frame rates at the same time. And I think it's because that 16:9 ratio gives a little bit more headroom versus something like the Legion Go 2, which has a little bit more resolution that it has to also deal with. So I thought the Xbox ROG Ally X is totally great at 24 gigs, but you know, hey, in the future, a couple years down the road, you know, maybe it is the RAM that's limiting it instead of the GPU. I'm not sure that's going to be the case, but hey, if you want the RAM upgrade, you can definitely do it. And SlickBuys Mods paved the way and showed you how to do that. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you have an Xbox ROG Ally or Ally X? And would you ever consider doing this yourself? I gotta know. Please let me know in the comments down below. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to news story number 4 for the day. Okay, so for number 4, I know when we started the channel, I was like, I don't really know. Are we going to have enough news and enough handhelds to kind of cover on the channel all the time? And boy, howdy, every week we've had just a ton of stories, like almost so many of them. Like, I don't even know if I could fit all these in a show for you guys. It's insane. But we got another brand new handheld announced this week. This time it is a Sony PS Vita clone, which is absolutely awesome. And this one is being made by Anbernic. And so let's go ahead and get into the story here. This comes to us from Nick Fernandez over at Android Authority. The Anbernic RG Vita and RG Vita Pro are closely inspired by Sony's last true gaming handheld, the PS Vita. They have the same widescreen format, shoulder button cutout, and all glass front with connected control bubbles. Unlike the PS Vita, Anbernic's handhelds have true triggers rather than relying on back touchpads. There are still rounded pads on the back to complete the look, but they're likely only aesthetic. Additionally, the buttons stick to the company's tried and true Nintendo ABXY labeling rather than Sony's styling. It's not yet clear what's powering the two devices. However, the label on the back of the RG Vita is briefly shown, and it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery and 10-watt charging, indicating it's likely not the company's top-end Density 8300 chipset found in the RG477M and RG477V. Okay, so that was a total mouthful, and seeing the story actually, and I actually saw some people posting actual Vitas on Twitter here recently, so I think this kind of brought the Vita back in the zeitgeist, especially on Twitter. And for me, it reminded me, like, I bought a Vita last year sometime, and bought it used. Like, I've had so many Vitas. I've bought and sold it, like, I don't even know, probably 4 or 5 times. And I specifically wanted to go back and, you know, try to clean up some trophies and stuff for games I just started but never finished. And like one of those games was Uncharted Golden Abyss, and I just started it but never played it. And since I got it, I've just like totally forgot that I have it altogether. So after I'm done recording, I'm going to go get that and plug it in because I want to play that Uncharted game. But what do you guys think about this Sony PS Vita clone? Are you guys excited about it? I think it looks super cool. You know, obviously we see tons of these on the channel, and there's going to be some more here in the news. There's a few more handhelds, and one that's particularly appealing with its price point and still offering like an OLED display. So, what do you guys think about the PS Vita clone? Is this something that you guys are interested in? Anbernic obviously is a company that puts a lot of these handhelds out. It seems like they're maybe a little bit more liked or trusted in the handheld community, as far as I can tell. To say somebody like Aya Neo, who can't just go a week without kicking themselves in the face. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I'm excited to hear more about it. And as Anbernic releases some more information, we will certainly cover it here on the channel for you. All right, let's go ahead and jump into a news item number 5. Okay, so for news item number 5, that brings us to one of these other handhelds that was just announced. And this one comes to us from Surfraz Khan over at WCCF Tech. And he writes, popular handheld maker Mangmi? Hey, you guys let me know in the comments down below how you're supposed to say that. I have no idea. Has announced its latest Android gaming handheld called the Pocket Max, bringing the power of the Snapdragon 865 processor and Adreno 650 GPU for a smooth gaming experience. It's the second Android handheld device from the company that delivers significantly superior specs out of the box, including internal hardware and screen, which makes the Pocket Max a powerful Android handheld for enthusiasts. Okay, so this looks pretty sick, guys. $199? Are you kidding me? $199 and you get a 7-inch OLED display? This is almost too good to be true, and it has a Snapdragon 865, so that is like, it's not the most powerful Android chip on the market, but it's still a plenty powerful Android chip, especially if you're going to run like a lot of emulation and stuff like that. Or for me, this would be like a really great game streaming device, remote play, GeForce Now, stuff like that, which you guys know I do a lot of that stuff. I absolutely love that. And this is pretty appealing for $199. I mean, the biggest deal breaker for me is the 7-inch screen. I do prefer, I think 8 inches is like my minimum I like to play on, I've found. And 8 inches has been good for me. I do still like the bigger the Legion Go 2 with its 8.8 inch. But anytime I would grab the Xbox Ally or Ally X and they had those 7-inch screens, or even way back when I had a G Cloud, 7 inches is just not doing it for me. Although now that I have these glasses, as things that I just like, it was a total deal breaker for me. Like as far as like I couldn't read text and stuff on it because the screens were so small. And now that I have the glasses, I could probably read them, but I still prefer a bigger display. So I think 8 inches would be better. But these are the name of this device is the Pocket Max. So I totally get why they're going with a 7-inch screen. They want it to be pocketable. That's kind of the appeal of it. And especially with a lot of these, all of these, like the AYANEOs and the Anbernics and the Mangmi, whatever this is called. I think the appeal of a lot of those is like to be able to just kind of slide it in your pocket, take it wherever you go, or some of them that have like the folding screen and boom, you could pocket it. So like portability and things like that, I think are the important things on a lot of these devices. But yeah, I'm curious, are you guys going to be pre-ordering this? $199? I think that's a pretty good deal, guys. If you're interested in an Android-based handheld gaming device where you can do maybe emulation or you can do game streaming or, God forbid, but you could play Android games too. Let's not play Android games. If you're playing Android games on your phone, I guess tell me about it down below, but I just don't understand it. So maybe convince me, or just call me the old man yelling at clouds about iPhone and Android games and touchscreen based games, whatever. I hope at least you're using a controller attachment to get some real buttons if you're doing actual Android gaming. But hey, if you are, leave me a comment down below. You're still welcome here. I may not understand you, but I would like to hear from you, so maybe I can at least understand your perspective. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to news item number 6 for the week. Well, you knew it couldn't be a show without Aya Neo, and here this one comes to us from Android Authority, this time by Andy Boxall. And Andy writes, gaming company AYANEO announced the availability of the Pocket S Mini, a handheld gaming device which runs Android, which is designed for retro game enthusiasts. What makes this product notable is its immediate availability, something the company had recently promised to address following concerns from its fan base. It comes in 2 colors, Ice Soul White or Obsidian Black. I mean, that's actually no colors at all. Or an Nintendo-inspired retro-themed finish. The 4.2 inches, holy moly. The 4.2-inch LCD screen is the star, as it has a 4:3 aspect ratio, ensuring it works with classic games, and a 1280 by 960 pixel resolution. It also sports a Qualcomm Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 processor, to provide the power, and has a 4,700 milliamp hour battery. And other features including a micro SD card slot, fingerprint sensor, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 5.3. It's starting at $319. That's $319 if you get in on the early bird price, or if you miss the first batch of orders, it will bump to $399 thereafter. There you have it, the AYANEO Pocket S Mini. So 4:3 aspect ratio is pretty cool for retro games. So like if you want to emulate NES, SNES, N64, I believe the PlayStation 1 still had a 4:3 aspect ratio. Did Dreamcast go HD? I can't remember if Dreamcast did. I think PlayStation 2 was still HD or still 4:3. Xbox One, I think, was 4:3. So pretty much from those gens, back in time, most of those are all 4:3. Because I think it was Xbox 360 was the first one to go widescreen in HD. If that's wrong, let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure that that's right. I don't remember. I think Dreamcast was 4:3 as well. But in any case, if you're looking for a small handheld device to run 4:3 games and fill up the screen, this could be the one that you're looking for. And if you're going to buy it, I would go ahead and buy it right now. $319, save $80. That's a much more attractive price than $399. But this is not something that I'm going to be picking up. If anybody out there from AYANEO is watching the channel and you would like me to review them, hey, you feel free to send them over. I would be happy to check them out and show them off on the channel. But other than that, I don't think I will be ordering one. I'm still waiting on another handheld to come in here recently. As you guys that watch the channel know, I'm waiting on the AYN Thor. That's really going to be my kind of like retro machine, the one that has the dual screen. I really can't wait to show that off to you guys really soon. But that's really it for the AYANEO Pocket S Mini. So if you are interested in that, obviously go ahead and look into it pretty quickly, because you can save $80 if you order it in the first batch. And with that, we will move on to news item number 7. Okay, so news item number 7 comes to us from notebookcheck.net, and this one is from Habib Onawali. Hey, Habib, I think you're on the show every week. One of these days, I probably got to reach out to you to see if maybe you'll join the show for a week, because we read at least one of your articles every week. So thanks so much, Habib, for all your hard work over there at Notebook Check. And this one is about the Abxylute 3D1 handheld PC. And he says, according to an announcement on its official Discord channel, Abxylute says shipping begins today, February 3rd. Just as it said back in November, the first batch will only have 80 units, 80 units, which will ship to backers who have already completed payment. Depending on the shipping method selected, owners should receive their orders within a week at the earliest. So, hey, first off, are you one of the people that ordered this? I mean, if you're watching the channel, please let me know in the comments down below, because I don't even care if we take it offline, we go Twitter or Discord or text message or what. I want to hear about this thing. Like, I was super excited about it. In the end, I didn't end up ordering one because I've ordered enough handhelds for the channel. My wife's probably about to go absolutely nuts. So if I would have ordered this and she would have saw me on the couch with this gigantic 11-inch tablet, she would have probably lost her mind. But anyway, so I did not order one. I wanted to, especially at the $14.99 price. I thought that was probably a pretty appealing price for what I thought they would sell it for. It has some other issues. I think it might be a little bit underpowered for the size of it and all the things it's trying to do. I think the battery life is going to be probably atrocious on it. But I think it is a super cool device. So if you're not familiar, it's like think about a Legion Go style device. So detachable controllers that kind of come on and off. It looks like they have almost the same mechanism, to be honest with you. But it has an 11-inch screen, a massive 11-inch screen. And it can do basically 3D, and you can do like faux 3D. So it can play native PC 3D games, which is really cool. So like stuff like, I think Tomb Raider, I think it was that third Tomb Raider game after Rise? It was a Survivor. I can't remember. Those Tomb Raider games are great. I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But I think that one had a 3D mode. And but it can also take any game or anything that you're displaying and like do like a faux 3D effect. So it is pretty cool. I am excited for you guys that did order one and you're going to be getting it very soon. So if you're watching this, please reach out to me. I don't care if you want to DM it, drop a comment would be awesome too. But I would love to hear about your experience once you get it, because this is a super cool handheld, and really excited for you guys to get it that did pre-order it. But I think you could probably still order them going forward as well if you're interested. Price might go up after, but I think it's still on Kickstarter, so definitely go check it out. They're very active in their own Discord too, so you can join their Abxylute Discord if you would like to as well. So let's go ahead and jump into a news item number 8 for the week. Okay, so we talked earlier about how Aya Neo can't go a week without just like sticking their foot in their mouth or kicking themselves in the face. And that's what this news story is once again. Aya Neo, get your crap together. Okay, this one comes to us also from Nick Fernandez over at Android Authority. And he writes, the Aya Neo Pocket S Mini retail units will have a 4,700 milliamp hour battery rather than the advertised 6,000 milliamp hour battery. A miscommunication in production caused the mistake, which went unnoticed until today. Buyers can either receive a full refund, or if they're okay with the smaller battery, they can get a free 2 plus 32 gigabyte Pocket Air Mini with their orders. So Aya Neo screwed up again, but I do think that they have come to the table here with a pretty good make right. So obviously you can just get your money back. That's great. Or if you're okay with a little bit of a smaller battery, you can get this other free device with it, which I think is a pretty good compromise. Okay, so Aya Neo again, they really just can't go a week without screwing something up. But I think in this instance, they have this mess up, but I think they've got a pretty good, a make good offer for you. Obviously you can be refunded. That's fine. That's great. Give you your money back and you can look elsewhere, look for something different, whatever. But if you're okay taking the smaller battery, they're offering you up a free additional device with your purchase. So I think that's a pretty good compromise. So if that 1,300 milliamp hour difference is a deal breaker for you, you've got some options just to get your money back or get a little freebie if you decide to keep it. So I think even though that they've screwed up yet again in a very public way, I think the solution here is acceptable. I'm curious though what you guys think. Do you think this is an acceptable solution, or is this just Aya Neo being Aya Neo again? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you pre-order this, or any of you guys in this situation? I'd love to know what you're doing and what you're going to do. Are you going to get your money back, or are you going to take the freebie? And just how do you feel about the situation? Let me know in the comments. And we will move on to news item number 9 for the week. Okay, so for news item number 9, this comes to us from Adam Hales over at Windows Central, and Adam writes, a Windows 11 security feature is blocking Armory Crate on the Xbox Ally and ROG Ally devices, leaving users unable to manage settings or install important updates. Another day, another Windows update breaking something it shouldn't. This time, instead of power issues or black screen crashes, users who bought into the Xbox Ally lineup or earlier ROG Ally devices are being greeted with an oops moment as Armory Crate simply refuses to work. For those unfamiliar, Armory Crate is ASUS's companion software for the Xbox Ally and the ROG Ally. It's used to manage performance profiles, system settings, and other essential features. Now, if you're watching the channel, you've already seen lots of videos on the Xbox ROG Ally and Ally X. You're probably very familiar with Armory Crates. It is an essential part of the experience when you're using one of those devices. And I think of all the different overlays that I've tried so far, I have not got my hands on any MSI devices, so I don't know about theirs. But as far as the Lenovo's Legion Space, I can't even think off the top of my head, but we'll just compare it to Legion Space. The Armory Crate is way better than Legion Space. I really like the customizability of it. I like having quick access to almost anything I would want to do in a game right there in Armory Crate in a little pop-up. But Windows doing Windows things as always. It's just another one of those things that's like, God, come on, Microsoft. Like, you want us off of Xbox, you want us onto PC, you're calling all PCs Xbox, you're calling everything Xboxes, but you can't get out of your own way with Windows jank and screwing up our gaming experiences. So, you guys know, I was an Xbox gamer, like Xbox from 360 up until like late PS4, early PS5 was like my main platform I played on. And I just eventually kind of got sick of, we can get into what I got sick of in another video, another time, but they just keep like making decisions that like are not good for gamers. And now that like you're going to be like, they're trying to migrate Xbox gamers basically to PC, they got to figure this stuff out, man. I'm just like so tired of all the Windows crap every time I pick up my Windows-based PC handhelds to play. Yes, Xbox full screen experience is a step in the right direction. I think there's a lot of good in Xbox full screen experience. I think there's a lot that could be better about Xbox full screen experience. But a Windows security update, like totally negating essential features for your PC handheld to run, is just is absolutely ridiculous. So I'm like I'm not gaming on an Xbox Ally or ROG Ally X or any of those, so it doesn't affect me really. But it still kind of pisses me off because it's just kind of an example of Microsoft once again kind of making lives a little bit worse for gamers when they're supposed to be like one of the biggest companies on the planet making life better for gamers. So anyway, there is a fix for this. So this also still from Adam Hales. So let's look at the fix here real quick. So for you audio only listeners, I'm just going to go through this step by step here real quick for you. So to fix this issue, you can disable Smart App Control in Windows 11. So on your device, you would switch to Windows desktop mode. You would go into the start menu. You would search for Windows Security and open that. You go to App and Browser Control. You select Smart App Control. You select you set Smart App Control to off. Then you restart your device once it's disabled. And once it's disabled, Armory Crate should open and function normally. Again, that came to us from Adam Hales over at Windows Central. Thanks, Adam, for the fix on how to basically make everyone's life better who's out there with an Xbox ROG Ally or Ally X who is dealing with this issue. And it's just a number of issues. Like last week we talked about the audio issue that was going on the Xbox ROG Ally devices. That hey, so if nothing else, we'll eventually get to a point where you guys can just pick up your Xbox ROG Allies and play games. But man, how do you guys feel about Microsoft and what they're doing with Xbox and gaming? I would love to hear it. I don't even care where you play. Tell me where you like. Are you a Steam player? Are you an Xbox console player? Are you an Xbox PC player? Are you a PlayStation gamer? I don't care where you normally play games. I want to know, like, how do you feel about Microsoft, what they're doing to the Xbox brand, what they're doing to gaming in general? Leave me comments down below. I love to hear it. And with that, we will move on to our next story. And this is number 10 for the week. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, whenever I did the show, I edited all this out. And I mistakenly put this in at the back end. So this really probably should have been up there with, maybe number 1 or 2. Because this is, number 1 is exciting, especially if you're an MSI Claw 8 AI Plus owner. But just for... gaming PC handhelds in general. And once we get some Panther Lake handhelds out there, like this is like kind of showing us like, oh man, once we get a Panther Lake chip plus this, like that's going to be pretty awesome. So this story comes to us over from Games Radar, and this is by Phil Hayton. And Phil writes, I'm not entirely surprised to hear Intel's XeSS 3 works on more than just Panther Lake chipsets. as support for B580 GPUs has already been confirmed. However, impatient fans have already impatient fans have already sussed out how to get multi-frame generation working on more devices ahead of schedule. And it can make all the difference in my never-ending quest to boost FPS using the best gaming handheld options out there. First shared to r/Intel Arc over on Reddit by user aggressive-camel8166, a short clip shows off multi-frame generation in Cyberpunk 2077 via a B580 GPU. A reply by OneHoon reveals that to get XeSS working, you apparently only have to extract 2 DLL files included with the latest driver update, then reinstall using the extracted folder. This means dabbling with tools that were previously exclusive to NVIDIA's best graphics card contenders is now possible on Arc GPUs and even the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus and other Intel-based handhelds. Okay, so a theme on the channel about the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus has really just been about like its life cycle. Like when it launched, it was kind of took a lot of heat. It, took a beating for its performance and its sluggish performance compared to some of the other devices on the market. But Intel just continued to put out driver update after driver update after driver update. And they have really made the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus a contender for one of the best performing PC handhelds out there. And now that you can do this is insane. So I know that some of you on the channel were thinking about getting an MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. If you did, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you gone and done this, and what has it done for you? Now, if you're watching this too, there's a good chance you already know of probably the biggest handheld PC guy in the space, ETA Prime. He's got millions of subscribers. I'm sure you've seen his videos here or there, or maybe you watch all his videos. I don't know. I watch some of his stuff. But he already has a video up on this showing it off with Cyberpunk, and it is insanely impressive. Like right off the bat, like his first little segment is like, this is Cyberpunk with ultra graphics at 1200p, and it's like over 100 frames a second. It's like insane. So obviously some people have different feelings about frame generation. I like frame generation, especially, if you're going from like 60 to 120, it's just, why not? But if you're going from like even 40 to 120, I think that's still pretty great. Typically most of the time I use like the 2X, and I use it a lot for remote play just to give me like a smoother image experience, just going from that, because most remote play is 60 FPS, is just bump it from 60 to 120. So I like to do that a lot. So this is, in that same vein of, like loss of scaling or FSR, all that kind of stuff that has frame generation. XeSS available on the MSI 8 AI Plus already. Not officially, of course, but it's pretty easy to do apparently, and it makes just an insane difference. So I would love to hear from you guys watching that have the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus. Tell me about your experience below, and if this now, and do you have any other PC handhelds, especially like higher end ones? I would love to hear if you can kind of compare them running side by side or anything like that. Let me know in the comments down below. I would be super excited to hear about it. Maybe I need to pick up one of these for the channel sometime. Or, hey, better yet, MSI Claw, MSI, send me one over to review. I would love to put it up against some of these other PC handhelds that I already own. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next story. In these last two stories, I actually already had the show basically done and baked before these news dropped. So this first one is not necessarily handheld related, but we've got tons of Steam Deck users and fans on the channel that are interested in the Steam machine, Steam frame, Steam controller, all that kind of stuff. So this was some big news that dropped Wednesday evening, and then we'll also get into our final story, which dropped Thursday morning, which was the Nintendo Partner Direct. So This one comes to us from the Steam blog directly, so this is right from the horse's mouth, okay? So this will be news item number 11. When we announced these products in November, we planned on being able to share specific pricing and launch dates by now. But the memory and storage shortages you've likely heard about across the industry have rapidly increased since then. The limited availability and growing prices of these critical components mean we must revisit our exact shipping schedule and pricing, especially around Steam Machine and Steam Frame. They go on. Our goal of shipping all three products in the first half of the year has not changed, but we have work to do to land on concrete pricing and launch dates that we can confidently announce, being mindful of how quickly circumstances around both of these things can change. We will keep you updated as much as we can as we finalize those plans as soon as possible. Okay, so I see some people out there talking about, oh, this is good news. I'm not super sure this is good news, because if they were trying to, like, when they announced this, everybody was kind of thinking, okay, they're going to, due to the console market, what they did with the Steam Deck. They're going to come in with a maybe subsidized or, like low cost console to compete with other consoles. And this tells me not only is that probably not the case, but whatever they were thinking of launching it at is out the window. So number one, the price is going to be higher, much higher, I would expect, than they originally wanted it to be. And we're going to get it later because of that, because they're still trying to source, all the components and everything for it. So again, I see people saying that, oh, this is good. They're going to get all their, they're taking more time to get all their ducks in a row, or maybe they're going to make a bigger box. There's a million different reasons people are trying to justify this. I don't feel confident that this is good news, because if we were getting good news, we would have just got the price. We would have just got the launch date. And what we got was, nope, not coming first quarter, coming Q2 probably. First half of the year is what they said. So it may still be coming soon. It may not. But what's that price going to be? I don't know. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I was like hoping for it to be $4.99 with a controller, which some people said I was out of my mind, and that's fine. Maybe it was going to be $4.99 for a base, $7.99 for a controller and a higher storage, whatever. I don't know, guys. I'm not very confident on what is it, how much is it, and at what point is it kind of DOA, right? Like Steam Deck really kind of blew up the handheld market from the, PC gaming standpoint with a very low price point, a very appealing entry point. It's not looking like this is going to be the case with the Steam Machine. I mean, if they come out with $1,000, is that going to be a no-go for you? I mean, it is for me. I'm not buying it at $1,000. I'm just not. There's just not enough value there for me if it's going to be not even as powerful as a PS5, which sells for $400. So, and I get it, right? Like, everybody's in their lane, right? In their ecosystem. Like, maybe you're a Steam Deck player only, and you're just straight up Steam games, and that's it. So it fits your store, your ecosystem. Obviously, there's millions and millions of people on Steam that play on their PC that would love to just maybe have an easy access point on their TV. So I think there is still a very big market for this, but at what price point are people going to say no? Like for me, $1,000 is a no. $499 is a yes. $599 is a yes. $699 is like, that's like probably the limit that I would even consider it. Once it's above that, I don't think I would get it. But I would love to hear from you guys. How much interest do you have, especially you Steam Deck players that are here on the channel, or even if you're not, let me know in the comments, like how much interest do you have in the Steam Machine and how much does price play a role in it? What are your limits? What are you hoping it launches for? What do you think it's going to launch for? Drop me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I don't think it's good news. Now, I will say there was one piece of good news in it at the bottom. They had like a frequently asked questions section. And one of the questions was like, what parts are going to be user upgradable in the Steam Machine? And many people just expected it to be SSD only, but SSD and RAM are going to be user upgradable. So I think that is good. Now, does that make it... It still comes down to the initial selling price. So even though I can upgrade that stuff on my own, if the initial selling price is too high, I'm still not going to get it. But anyway, I think it's not handheld news, but I think it's in our orbit, and a lot of you guys are excited for it. I was excited for it too. This makes me kind of step back a little bit. I'm not super sure anymore if they're going to be able to pull it off, because they definitely didn't have the foresight to book deals to get all this stuff locked down before all these prices went out of control. And, you know, it's not, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily their fault. I mean, a lot of companies didn't, right? And almost nobody did. The only one that we heard that stockpiled a bunch of RAM was Sony and PlayStation. But they probably do that anyway. So I don't know that that's necessarily out of the norm for them, because they know they can project how many millions and millions and millions of consoles they're going to sell all the time. So I don't know, man. I kind of feel bad for Valve. I kind of feel like they just stepped in at the wrong time. But when they initially announced it, we were already seeing some of this stuff. So they had to know that, you know, things were a bit dicey whenever they decided to do that. So I don't know. At this point, I'm just rambling, but you can kind of tell in my voice, I don't think this is good news. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll move on to our final story of the day here. And this is going to be the Nintendo Partner Direct. And basically, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the games that were announced. If you're an audio listener, I'm just going to rattle off all the games that were in the Direct. And so that way, if you want to go back and check out the Direct, here's all the games that were announced, okay? Orbitals, Paranormasight, The Mermaid's Curse, Captain Tsubasa 2, World Fighters, Tokyo Scramble, Valheim, Hollow Knight, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, eFootball Kickoff, The Adventures of Elliot, Millennium Tales, which is going to be launching in June. I think that's awesome. Super Bomberman Collection, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, also launching in June, and we'll get to that in a minute. Pragmata, Turok Origins, Kyoto, Xanadu, Digimon, Storytime Stranger, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Endless Ragnarok, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection, Arcade Archives and Console Archives, Scott Pilgrim EX, Another Eden Begins, Reanimal, WWE 2K26, Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, Disney Dreamlight Valley Switch 2 Edition, PGA Tour 2K25, Cold Step Begins, Goat Simulator 3, Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition, Resident Evil Requiem, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remake. So that was a whole bunch of games, but so the ones that I think are encouraging if you're a Switch player and you're a Switch 2 owner and this is your main console of choice, you're basically being told, I think, here that if it was a last-gen game that was just impossible to do on the Switch 1, you're going to get these ports on Switch 2. And the reason I say that is not just are you getting games like Fallout 4 or even brand new games like Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remake, but the one that really stood out to me was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And look, we have no idea how it's going to run, but at least what they showed in the Direct looked good enough, I think, for Switch 2. That game, if you haven't played it, I mean, that game is very graphically intense and demanding. So much so that I personally didn't think it looked all that great on Xbox compared to what it could look like if you played the PC version on, like, say, GeForce Now with the 4090, all that kind of stuff. And that game blew me away. Now, of course, it still does look good on Series X. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just like, how high-end the graphics can be versus what they had on Series X or even on PlayStation 5. So it's interesting that it's going to be on the Switch 2, that they got it running on the Switch 2, that it's going to be a game that they're confident and will sell to you. So for Switch 2 owners, I think, hey, Xbox One, PS4 generation, I think is a full go. I don't think there's any limitations on what's going to be able to be achieved with optimizing and stuff like that. I think these companies are now showing you that if they want it on Switch 2, they'll be able to do that. Square Enix, of course, showed up in force as well and showed off Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We all know that it had issues running well on PS5, and it looked like they got it running pretty well on Switch 2. Now, is it going to be the world's best version of it? Obviously not. But if this is your only platform, this is a platform you want to stick to, it's cool for you guys to get these games, including Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I don't even think has a PS4 version. So that's super cool. That's a PS5 only game that you're getting on the Switch 2. That's pretty dope. So good news for Switch 2 owners. The ports floodgates have started to open. The other thing that I wanted to point out, like Square Enix just can't get out of their own way on some of these games. Like, look, I get that not every Final Fantasy VII Rebirth player is going to be interested in the Adventures of Elliot, but a lot of like hardcore gamers are. Like, I'm super interested in both of those. And they're like launching like 2 weeks apart. And with Elliot launching behind Rebirth, do they not know how long Rebirth is? Dude, I put 100 hours into Rebirth just to play the game one time. And that's not even the hard mode replay. That's not even getting a platinum or anything. That's just like the playthrough was 100 hours. So that game is crazy long. There's like no way that Switch 2 players getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are going to be done with it by the time Elliot comes out. And maybe gamers are just more open to playing a bunch of different games at one time. I typically don't. Since I started the channel, I've tried to do like 1 or 2 games at a time. And honestly, I don't love doing that. I mostly do that for you guys. I prefer to stick to a game at a time. So just let me know. Do you guys bounce around game to game? Do you play bunches of different games at one time? Or you stick to like, I'm going to play this until I'm done with it. Or I'm going to play this until I'm done with it. Maybe I'm just old. I like to play a game until I'm done with it. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. So how was that for a gaming news show about handhelds? We filled up damn near a full hour of just news. And so I'll try to keep it brief with the ending segment of the show here. This is going to be just the games that I'm playing. And so really just 2 games right now. And The Witcher 3, I've played a couple more hours of it. And another game called Cairn, which I've played probably 20 hours of it in like about a week. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. And I understand if maybe you just dismissed it or saw it and you're like, oh, hell no, I'm not playing that. So if that's you, give me just a minute because I really want to talk to you about it because I think it is an incredible game that you should consider playing if you're just like a video game enthusiast. So real quick, let's get Witcher 3 out of the way. So I've only played a couple more hours of it. Again, I'm still just continuing with the main story. And I don't have too much to report other than like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I still like it. I'm still not loving the combat. And I will say, I commented a couple times about the map and like why I dropped the first time and how the map was just, there was crap everywhere on the map. Did they rework the map? Because like I'm pull up this map, there's like not that much stuff on it. So I'm going to guess that on this PS5 version or just over time, they've updated and changed it. Because there's not that much stuff on the map. So let me know if you've played it before, if that's the case. And also combat. Like, I'm not loving the combat. So if you guys have any tips on The Witcher 3 of like how to make the combat fun or like what are some different like abilities or things that I need to like focus on to make the combat more enjoyable. Because the game just, it doesn't like, it feels older than, I mean, it is, look, it's an old game, right? It's like a decade old now, but to me, it controls a little older than a lot of games I played a decade ago. So I'm still kind of like getting used to that. And because of that, the combat just doesn't feel the best to me. So if I'm playing it wrong, like, should I be doing like dodge rolling? Should I be doing parrying? Like, tell me what I need to be doing in The Witcher 3 to make the combat more fun. I would certainly appreciate knowing. Okay, so let's get to Cairn because this is the game that I've just been like totally like enamored with here for the past week, and I kind of love it. So if you're not familiar, Cairn is a rock climbing game. And if that sounds terrible, It's going to sound even worse when I tell you it's a rock climbing game where you control each individual limb to climb. That sounds tedious as hell, and it is, but it's awesome. And so the game has a lot of different mechanics, and I will say some of the downsides of it is it doesn't do a good job of telling you some of the things that it can do. I was talking with one of the guys in Discord how I got stuck on a massive chunk of wall with only 2 pittons. I think that's what they're called, pittons, or I don't know how you pronounce them, pittons, P-I-T-O-N-S. Pittons is what I think they're called. But basically those are the things that you hammer into the rock and you tie your rope onto. So that way, like if you fall or slip or whatever, you don't die basically. And so I like already had used to, and then I looked up and I was like, oh my God, there's like a massive, huge, like I'll never be able to make it all the way up this wall. And I don't have any more pittons. And like, what am I going to do? And apparently there's a mechanic in the game for like where you break pittons or where you like put them in the wall and you don't get the timing just right. It's like when you put them in the wall, there's like a bar that comes up and it's got like a slider that kind of goes back and forth. And there's like a rectangle where you got to hit to get it to like go into the wall straight. And if you miss just slightly on either side, it goes into the wall crooked. And basically it'll, if it doesn't break this time, it'll break the next time. Or if you missed completely on either of those little rectangles, then you'll break your pitton. But there's a mechanic in the game that will take those broken pittons and you can put them in your ClimbBot thing, like when you're resting at a tent or whatever, and it'll fix them and make new ones. I didn't know that was even the case. So I don't know if I blew by a tutorial or if it didn't explain it or what. The guy that I was talking to in the Discord, he already platinumed the game, and he was like, I didn't know that you could do that either until like halfway up the mountain. So I think maybe they just didn't explain it very well in the game. So keep in mind, that's definitely something that you can do. And if the game is too hard, like if you give it a shot, if you play it, and I think there is a demo up. I think there's a demo on Steam for sure, if I remember right. But if you find it like just too hard, there are some accessibility things that you can do. So like you can get a fall rewind. So basically anytime you fall, you can rewind it and try again. And there is one that's unlimited pittons. So like you just never run out of pittons. So you can always, like if you get frustrated by like, I just climbed 20 meters and fell and now I got to do it all over again. Like you can turn those accessibility options on if you would like to, which I'm not going to lie. I used them. I didn't want to like replay the whole damn game because I was out of pittons. So like I did use that to get up that massive chunk of wall. And then, once I was able to get more materials, get more pittons, I turned it back off and continued up the mountain. But so it's cool that they had those just to help me get through that section because otherwise I wasn't going to be able to do it. But it's a really cool game. So if you've ever watched the movie Free Solo, like first of all, that is a cool movie, and that dude is absolutely out of his mind, but unbelievable rock climber. But I was like totally compelled and on the edge of my seat the whole time when I watched that. And like when I'm watching it, like, you're always worried about him falling and slipping and dying and all this stuff. And like, it's just really cool the way to like to see them like grab certain handholds and footholds and, doing the things with the chalk and all that kind of stuff. And this game does all that kind of stuff. So it's like super cool. So I don't know if I like it more because I watched that or because I've watched some rock climbing stuff before. I'm not going to be a rock climber. I'm not climbing up on any, even like indoor rock walls or anything like. I have no interest in trying to do that. There's no way I could do that. But I think the sport and just in general rock climbing, I think it is kind of fascinating, especially if you watch Free Solo. If you haven't seen it, I super recommend it. It's a great documentary. Definitely check that out. But if you end up liking that, you will definitely like this game because a lot of the stuff that you see them kind of, slowly doing is like looking for footholds and handhelds and methodically climbing up the mountain. And that's what you do in this game. So it's like you do control all the different limbs, but just one at a time, right? So like you're on the wall and you kind of move your hand here and you've got like cracks and crevices that you can, kind of grab onto, or you might see a piece of the wall sticking out a bit. I could put my foot on that and then like you can reach up to the next level. So it is a super cool, the way I think the rock climbing is actually done very well and it's super compelling. The game also has really good music. There is a story, but I'd say most of the time you're left alone. So it is a very like solitary experience. I've seen people compare it to Death Stranding, and they're not really anything like each other outside of kind of you're doing it on like it's kind of a solitary experience. It's like just you and the wall, and you can just hear the ambient, world and noise around you. And then at certain points, there are story beats here and there where you'll get a little bit more. Lots of environmental storytelling, lots of different things to go find if you really want to go find everything. I like this game enough that like I went ahead once I finished it, I started up a new ascent so I could go, kind of collect all the different trophies and stuff like that. And I'm glad I'm doing that because there are some things I just totally missed completely in the game. And also one of the items that I missed was just because I was just unable to climb this particular wall, which is like kind of in the middle of like kind of like you're climbing up the wall and there's like a hole in the wall and you go in and there's like this cavern inside. But the density of the rock in there is like too hard for putting your pittance in. So you have to climb it without falling. And there are points where you kind of like have to go like, this kind of way and where you kind of like have to hang backwards and stuff. And it's a tough climb. And like, I tried it a bunch. I was just like, I just got sick of it the first time and I just went back out and went up, the other way. But doing it this time, I like forced me to like if you want this item and this trophy, you got to do it. And so it forced me to do it. And I was able to, by the skin of my teeth, get it done. So it's really been fun to go back and do some of those things that I missed in the game. I totally missed this other part where like you can find a set of fireworks and then you can set off the fireworks. So just cool little things like that. Music in the game, super good. It has a very emotional climax to the game. It's just like, and you feel like, cause like this is supposed to be a mountain that nobody's ever been able to reach the summit. So like nobody's ever done it before. And like all these people have died trying. And the game does a good job of really making you earn it. And like every time that you overcome like a wall and then you see a big giant wall, it's like immediately you see relief when you climb up. And then you look up and it's like, oh my God, there's so much more. And that was so hard already. And the game just does a great job of like that reward structure of like, this is difficult. And then boom, you do it, you achieve it. You're like, yes. And then you look up and you're like, oh no. And so it's pretty cool. But then once you finally reach the summit, it's just, it is really incredible. And the way the game ends is just very like emotional. Super, super cool game. I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's not, I think it's like $30. I think it's even on sale for maybe $27 if I remember right. I think it's the same price on Steam as it is on PlayStation. I played it on PlayStation, mostly remote play. Played it a lot on Portal. Played it a little bit on Legion Go S and the Legion Go 2. Really, all of those ways are a great experience. Legion Go 2 was nice because I got to have the HDR, which the game has a really nice HDR implementation. So if you have a handheld that has HDR and you want to play that way, I would recommend that. Of course, hopefully we'll get a PlayStation Portal that has HDR sometime in the future. But so that's it. Those are the games that I'm playing. What are you guys playing? Let me know in the comments down below. And I think that's going to probably be it for the show this week. I just changed a little bit of the format this week. If you guys want to write into the show, I definitely encourage you to do that. I would love to include your write-ins. I'm not going to be just tacking on comment stuff to the end of the video anymore because the retention of the video when we got to that point just totally dropped off, and I think it's really hurting the videos. So I even contemplated cutting out this part here, this what I'm playing part, because there was a dip for this part too. But in some of the episodes, there was a dip up. So I know some of you guys like to hear what I'm playing. So we'll see. I'm trying to make this format work and not have it kill the channel. But I really need you guys to when that video comes on, watch it all the way through. If you know anybody that likes handheld news stuff and podcast stuff like that, please share this with them. Encourage them to watch and listen to the whole thing. Of course, you can get this on YouTube on Fridays, and if you would like the podcast version, those go out on podcast services on Monday. But as always, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to interacting with you in the comments. I'll be down there, so anything you drop, I will be interacting with you. And hey, thank you guys so much. Merch in the link in the description if you would like some merch. And we will see you next week.